Welcome back. Before we wrap up this course, I want to go over a few final things. We've covered a lot. Everything from setting up Reaper to preparing a manuscript, recording, editing, proofing, and mastering. By now, you should have a solid workflow that will help you produce high-quality audiobooks efficiently and consistently. Even so, I still have a few extra tips for you, some additional resources to share, and I also want to give you some ways to stay connected with me, if you want. Let's start with the extra tips. I've shown you a lot of the shortcuts and tools I use during the course, but here are a few final ones that might come in handy. First up, there are some Screensets saved in your setup already, which I cycle through with a button on my quick keys. It cycles between three views: the full screen view I've mostly been using, the part screen vertical layout, which I use while recording, and the part screen horizontal layout. Sorry, pressed the wrong button. Which I use for editing pickups. I have it rotate from full to vertical to full to horizontal to full to vertical, etc., so that I can have it cycle efficiently and effectively from a single button. The next script is a mute and unmute button for a live track. So I have a live track I use for readings on Discord, which allows me to broadcast my recordings at a delay after my FX chain has been applied. The script, which again I have set up as a button on my quick keys, finds a track called live, so it's called live, where this track is called recordings, and mutes or unmutes it, depending on whether it is unmuted or muted. I use it if I need to drink some water, or if I'm taking a break, or even if I need to talk to someone in person in here without broadcasting a private conversation. If you want to explore that, just pull up the action list, show action list. You can kind of explore some of the scripts that I have got, which were included in. So if you look at that, you can explore the scripts which I've included for you, but haven't otherwise discussed. Next up is this toolbar here, which cycles through different item colors. So I use it for identifying the best and second best sections of recordings when I'm auditioning for non-audiobook work. If you select an item that isn't colored and click it, it goes orange. If you select an item that is orange and click it, it goes green. If you select an item that is green and click it, it goes back to normal. So what I did here, for example, is I had 3 readings for this audition, and I then broke it down into sections. I identified my favourite, less favourite, and least favourite of the 3 reads, and ended up with kind of very stripy, kind of green, 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 orange, orange, grey, orange, green, green kind of pattern. And then I moved things around until I just had the best bits. So I ended up with, the best one here is miles away now better than the worst one here, which takes the least good of each section and thereby creates something even worse, as it were, just as taking the best parts of each section creates something even better than the sum of its parts. I don't have this on my quick keys. I don't use it often enough, but I do use it often enough to actually warrant a toolbar button for it. My next tip relates to waveform visibility, although I have touched on it before, and it's particularly useful if you're doing a visual check of your rendered regions track. If you go to the View menu and click Peaks Display Settings, View, Peaks Display Settings, you can add decibels to your waveform for visual purposes only, and it can make it easier when you're looking at your other track, your rendered item track. It can make it easier to spot the breaths and pops that have survived the FX chain, particularly that have survived the gate. My final tips are very much into the realm of fixing things when they go wrong. Firstly, sometimes things go wrong and your waveforms will vanish, making it look like you have no audio at all. If that happens, don't panic. It is all still there. Just go to the item menu, click at the bottom, you'll find a thing saying peaks. And among there, you have something saying rebuild all peaks. If you click that, it will rebuild all the peaks and everything will be visible again. And it's very quick. I mean, even at the longest kind of 20, 30 hours, it will take less than a minute to rebuild all the peaks. Sometimes things go really, really wrong. And if that happens, the first thing to check is the undo history. Click Edit, Undo History. As there may well, I'm going to drag this down to show you a bit better, there may well be a state somewhere in the undo history that you can restore back to, which you can do by right-clicking and clicking Load this undo state. If not, or if Reaper's crashed and has appeared to lose your recent work, have no fear. There are two sets of backups in your project folder. There's an AutoSaves folder full of periodic saves. As you can see, they are more or less every 5 minutes. Where they aren't, it's just because they've just overlapped a 5-minute mark. And then there's a backups folder, which contains previous versions. So if you're saving regularly, as you can see, all of these were saved during 24 minutes past 2 p.m. At 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 18 seconds. So this is more of a granular backup of everything recent. So take a look in these, find the most recent file, or if the problem happened some time ago, the file with the last timestamp before things went wrong. Change the file name and get rid of everything after this dash and before the RPP at the end. Or if you're restoring one of the ones that ends .rpp -back, you're also going to need to change the extension to RPP capital letters. So for example, I could change this and I could change that, and that would, if I click that, would allow me to change that to an RPP file, and then you can paste it over your project file, although I do recommend renaming this to something like .rpp.back or extract backup or something before you overwrite it. And this can save hours of lost work, so it's good to know where these backups are. That brings us to the end of the course, but if you want to keep learning, here are a few additional resources I highly recommend, as well as ways to contact me. First up, one of the most difficult concepts to learn in this course is how to EQ audio. If you really want to get in depth into the subject, then go watch the 9-hour course from mastering.com, which is linked to in the description. If you want to learn Reaper in a more general way and create your own toolbars, etc., then check out BoothJunkie's courses, Mike DelGaudio's courses. There's a free course on getting started with Reaper 7 and a paid masterclass, and I have linked to both of them in the description. If you want to connect with me, you've got a few options. First up, you have got my website at www.thenarrator.co.uk. You can also contact me through the contact page on that website. You can also find me on Discord, where, amongst other places, I'm usually around on my server, Winter's Rest. Again, check the list in the description. If I'm logged into Winter's Rest, I'm usually also to be found at the BoothJunkie Discord, and I have linked to that below as well. Mine's the place to visit if you're feeling a bit disconnected or lonely while stuck alone for hours on end in a booth. It's predominantly a mix of audio people and authors. Alternatively, Mike's Discord is the place for access to loads of fellow professionals who have an interest in Reaper particularly, and is one of the best places to get advice from a wider range of people and me. If you want to speak to me directly, the easiest thing to do is to book time directly into my diary using Zcal. That's zcal.co/thenarrator. If it's just a quick question, avoid the avoid the half-hour and hour-long slots because I do charge for those, but 15-minute slots are free. That said, if you need problem-solving for Reaper, you probably are going to need a 30 to 60-minute meeting or longer. Finally, I've put a lot of time into this course. I think I started writing it in January, maybe the second week of January, and it's taken me until it's currently the 30th of March when I'm recording this, and I still have to edit it and then check through all the content. But I put the time in because I really want to make it easier for people to start their narration careers using Reaper from day one. If you found this course helpful and you have no idea how awkward it is as a British man asking this, we're so stiff upper lip and blah, 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 blah. But if you found the course helpful, please consider leaving me a tip at ko-fi.com. Coffee.com? That's ko-fi.com /The Narrator UK. The link is, of course, in the description. I'm pretty sure I've run out of things to say. You know virtually everything I know now, and you haven't had to spend many, many, many months learning it. So with that, I think I can say the course is over. You know everything you need to record an audiobook in Reaper and do an absolutely fantastic job at it too. Please, when you release your first book, come and tell me about it. I'd love to hear how you got on. It's been an absolute pleasure preparing, recording, editing, uploading, literally everything about this course. And thank you so much for watching. Happy narrating.